So I finally got my hands on the Sony A7S III and I wanted to compare the footage to my Canon R5. Now, this isn't going to be a full detailed review. I was just really interested in a few things such as colors, skin tones, dynamic range, and really just how the color grading process is between them both. For the shots coming up that you'll see here, what I did was film similar scenes one after another on each camera, but I exposed them independently. Meaning that I didn't just copy settings from one camera to the other one, I exposed them so they looked right. But for the most part, the settings did stay pretty consistent. So for the Sony A7S III, I chose to use S-Log3, and for the R5, I used C-Log. For some of the shots, I will show a before and after for the color grade. So for this comparison, I only wanted to use the best 4K modes in each camera. So for the R5, I'm using the 4K HQ mode in 24 frames per second, and the all-eye mode in 60 frames per second. Now for the Sony A7S III, I'm using the 4K SI mode. And we did not get to film the 120 frames per second because again, we were trying to use the best 4K modes on each camera. And in order to get the best 4K 120 on the Sony A7S III, you need a certain memory card, and we didn't have it. Now usually with the R5, I record externally to the Ninja 5, and I wanted to keep that consistent. Now in my time using the R5 with the Ninja 5, I have not seen a difference in quality as far as better or worse with recording externally versus recording internally. But I will put the info up on the screen so you'll know if I'm using the Ninja 5 or recording internally. And one more thing before we get into it. The lens I used on the A7S III was the Sigma 24-70 f2.8, and the lens for the R5 is the Canon 24-70 Mark II f2.8. So with that being said, let's get into it. Alright, so after looking at the footage, I'm just gonna give some quick thoughts. So as far as the quality of the 4K modes, at 24 frames per second, you're gonna be getting better 4K in that 4K HQ mode on the Canon R5. But if you jump up to 60 frames per second, that's when the Sony A7S III is going to take the cake with the better 4K mode there. But both of them are really good, and neither one is pushing out unusable footage by any means. So taking a look at the colors, they're both filming in 10-bit, so you can really bring out some nice colors out of both cameras. I did find C-Log easier to grade, but that's simply because S-Log3 is a much flatter profile. But with either one, you're able to tweak it and really push the colors how you want them to be. As far as skin tones, I would give the advantage to the R5. But that's not to say that you're getting bad skin tones from the A7S III. I would just prefer the colors that come from the Canon side. And the last thing I want to touch on is dynamic range. Now with either camera, I had no problem exposing as far as clipping in the highlights. Both of them did fine. With the Sony A7S III and S-Log3, you're getting about 14 to 15 stops of dynamic range. And with the R5 and C-Log, you're getting about 12. So apparently there's supposed to be an update to the R5 at some point soon to bring in C-Log3. Now with C-Log3, it should give the R5 about 2 extra stops of dynamic range, so I'll be interested to test that out and see how it holds up. But look, I'm gonna get up out of here. I just wanted to give some quick thoughts, but I am interested in what you guys think as well, so don't forget to jump down in the comments and let me know what you think. If you enjoy it, go ahead and drop it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and I will see y'all real soon in my next one. Peace.